Welcome back to another episode of Columbus's Random Talks, the best podcast for you to practice your listening skills. I'm Teacher David with you as usual, and with me is my dear friend and colleague, Teacher Carlos. Hello, teacher. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. How about you, teacher?
I'm doing not so bad myself. Thank you so much for asking.
All right, very good, very good. Very excited about today's topic.
Yeah, me too. But before starting the program, don't forget to follow us on every social media. Remember that we're on Spotify. Where else can they find us, Teacher Carlos?
We are on Facebook,
Yep.
very active all the time,
Mhm.
sharing things and sharing the episodes every time. Also reading your comments. We are also on Instagram where we check whenever you like a picture or make a comment in the comment section. And we are also on TikTok with Teacher
Mhm.
Pablo. Amazing content, very useful with
Yes.
tips, tricks, and hacks to improve your English. And also we are on Google Podcasts where you
Mhm.
can find all of our podcasts. They are arranged by name, also by date. You can watch them whenever you want, whatever you want. And remember, you will find us in every of the social media that we mentioned as Columbus School BCS. So make sure you like it. Also on YouTube, I was about to forget that
Yes.
one. Yes, subscribe, share, and make comments. We really appreciate your interactions and also help us a lot to grow this project, guys.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for reminding us all of our social media. So, in this week's episode, we'll talk about reflection. And as you could see, as you are going to see in the title, the what if. So, we'll be talking about and imagining what the consequences would have been if we hadn't learned English. So, that's something really interesting. So, stay tuned for our comments. All right. So, what about if we start with you, Teacher Carlos? Would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, of course. Let's start well. I think that this topic is very interesting as a premise,
Mhm.
of course, because we are told since we are very young as Mexicans
Mhm.
that English is going to help you some way,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because we don't really know where it's going to take you, right?
Mhm,
Or the doors that is going to open into your life and all of that, right? So
mhm.
we are, you know, we are lectured
Yeah.
sometimes on
Mhm,
how important it is for your future to
mhm.
have English as one of your skills in your CV, if you can put it
Yes.
like that. And I always get comments, or used to get comments, not anymore, of course,
Mhm,
about your completing your CV. And whenever you are looking for a job, they check if you know English, they ask you about your proficiency,
mhm.
and probably the best way to show your English level is with a certification
Yeah.
and with a level.
Mhm.
Probably you want to go with Cambridge. So a little plug-in right there. So
They're sponsored.
yes, of course. And the thing here is that we are always getting comments like that.
Mhm,
So now, well, in if I think about in a retrospective, right,
mhm.
back then, right, I wouldn't imagine what I would be doing in the future, of
Yes.
course. And now if I think about it, it can define your whole career.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
100%.
it can define your whole career, and of course a different outcome, right, an
Mhm.
alternative universe, right?
Yes.
So if I think about that alternative universe, back then when I started officially learning English,
Mhm.
it was, as I have mentioned before, it was here at Columbus.
Yes.
It was like around 11 years ago, 12
Mhm,
years ago, probably. I was in middle school, probably the worst time for me because
mhm.
I was a teenager, starting as a teenager. You're trying to find yourself,
Yeah.
right? You're trying
Yes.
to, and of course you start this rebel phase,
Mhm.
right? And of course, as many as my previous student have mentioned before, they are kind of forced to go to English because it's an additional class. And
Mhm.
we don't really love school
Yeah.
for the academic matter,
Yeah. Not
right?
until certain point.
Yeah, until a
Mhm.
certain point where you
Yeah.
actually start understanding the purpose of
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And my mom used to go like, "You're going to thank me one day. I know you will thank me one day for this." And I was like
But
very reluctant,
well,
right?
thanks,
Very,
mom.
Yeah. Shout out to my mom right now. I
And all of
know.
the moms that force their kids to learn
Yeah,
English.
yeah. Force your eggs. Take them. They will be mad, but take them. It's
Yeah.
very important. And I wasn't I wasn't aware of it
Mhm.
like back then. Now
Yeah.
that I think about it, it's like I don't know, it would have defined. I mean, I'm a teacher now in
Mhm.
the same school that I started learning
Yeah.
English. So
First
now,
circle. First circle.
yeah, full circle, of course. But now, what if I had broken that circle?
Mhm.
So that's when it gets interesting,
Yeah. Really
right?
philosophical to start thinking about
Yeah, because I
possibilities.
mean, yes. Also, my dad, he's proficient in English.
Mhm.
He told me his story very similar to mine. At the
Mhm.
same, I remember he mentioned a name of a woman who was native. I don't know if it was. I don't remember. She was very popular. Like 20 years ago here in La Paz.
Rosetta Stone.
I don't know. I think her school was very Anita Walker.
Anita
Thank
Walker.
you.
That's right.
Yes,
I
Anita.
remember.
Anita Walker was my dad's teacher.
Oh. Mhm.
So he started learning English with her, and he was also reluctant to learn it. Now
Mhm.
he thanks my grandma for forcing him,
Mhm.
and I have some of his personality. So
Yeah.
I was a mess in middle school. So the
Mhm.
thing here is that I come from a very large family of engineers,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
All of them are engineers, and then at some point in my life, I thought that I was going to, or I had the responsibility to be also an engineer as a
Mhm.
heritage or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because it is known, at least among my family members, that at least my family have a certain way of thinking that works for an engineer. But in
Mhm.
this case, I don't know, the social part is what I needed, actually, the human part, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
So now that I think about it, I would probably be a engineer.
Engineer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I hadn't that opportunity to study English and take it to another level,
Mhm.
because at some point in my life I changed. I was studying I spent the whole year studying engineering in
Career. Yeah.
Tecnológico
Mhm.
here in La Paz. I was going to be a computational systems engineer.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
because since I was little, I
Mhm.
really liked computers and moving around, finding out how some things work, and the mind
Mhm.
of an engineer. But
Yeah.
I had this defining personality factor that I'm not all of myself is Sepulveda. I also have another part of my blood that is Orozco, which is from my mom. So my mom is more outgoing, has this personality. She's very easy to talk to, and
Mhm.
she's like very different, right?
Yeah.
So now that I think about it, I don't know. I would probably be working for a company or behind a desk,
Mhm.
or I don't know. It's kind of it's interesting to think about the alternative
Yeah.
reality.
Basically, you get to a wall, right? When you think about it, like you
Yes,
get to a wall that you cannot think more of
yes,
that because, I
yes,
mean, it's so important, especially for us that we teach and that we have a contact with English, that we cannot see like a little bit further of that. Like,
yeah,
I cannot imagine as you, like, what would I have done if I hadn't learned English so young? And um, my story is actually kind of the same as yours because since I was very little, my mom as well forced me and my sister to learn English, but I was the one who like we could say like completed the levels. We can say if we're in a talking about a school, like a specific school. Um, but yeah, I always liked all of things related to media, and as you can see that we're doing this podcast.
yes,
All things related to media and movies and music and theater. So I think that I would probably be working at something, maybe a journalist, um, or a content creator. I mean, it's something that I already do, right? But just like a side hustle.
mhm,
But professional, I think I'd be doing that because, fun fact, I studied that. I studied communication. So I think that I will be doing something like that. But I think that I would have a harder time finding a little bit of job opportunities, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, you're talking about media production,
Mhm.
content creating. I mean,
Yes.
like, when you are a creative person and you have this urge to create, as
Yeah.
probably most of humans in different fields,
Mhm.
right? I mean, having contact with other people helps you grow your mindset and
Yes.
also, find other ways
Mhm.
to give this orientation to your career,
Mhm.
right? And well, we know that communication is a defining factor for your development in your future. Of
Mhm.
course, making contact is important because we learn through other people experiences.
Mhm.
So yeah, in this case, I would be imagining that you would struggle with certain topics or to understanding certain
Yeah.
things, right?
Yes, and also understanding the world, because I mean, if I didn't speak English, I wouldn't get this opportunity to research on different sources, right? Like international sources where the main language is English, or maybe watch some videos or watch some YouTube creators that their main language is English. So when I think about all of the opportunities that I wouldn't have, it it makes me kind of like emotional or kind of upset, um, that I wouldn't have all of these sources and resources that we can use.
Yeah, I mean, like you think about yourself as another David from an alternative universe, and
Exactly.
you go and you suddenly
Multiverse.
become you suddenly become like your mom, and you start going like studying English. You don't need it, bro. Like
Exactly.
it's yeah. So there you go. Now, I mean, I remember that when you send me the question
Uh-huh.
about hey, tomorrow we're going to talk about this, so think
Yeah.
about it. I was riding my bike. I was on my bike when I read
Mhm.
it. So I was on top of a mountain. Actually, that day I was on top of a hill,
Mhm.
watching the sunset on my bike,
Yeah.
and I lost the train of thought
Mhm.
while you told me that,
Yeah.
and that's why I reacted like that when you said that you come across a wall,
Mhm.
because I don't know what my life. I mean, I don't know how my life would be
Yeah.
in a situation where English didn't take part as much as it did
Mhm.
the last years.
Yes.
I mean, I have made many amazing friends, you
Mhm.
included, of
Oh,
course.
thank you.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about my confidence to
Mhm.
communicate,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it has made me uh go out of my comfort zone
Mhm.
in some way,
Yeah.
because I had to practice. I had to put myself in very awkward situations. I had to forget about feeling ashamed or something like
Mhm.
that, right? So I think about my personal confidence and my interpersonal
Mhm.
relationships.
Yeah.
How would they be? Probably very limited to
Mhm.
work colleagues,
Mhm.
or I don't know, because whenever I changed my studies, I went from one university to another one.
Completely.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
whole different thing, because
Mhm.
I was dealing with teachers that were also engineers, so they didn't have a professional formation,
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
to be a teacher. So they were pretty much engineer evaluating our knowledge. So it
Mhm.
was hard sometimes because they lack this human part of
Mhm.
our job
Yep.
as teachers. And of course, on the other side, when I changed my university, I went to humanities, we call it
Mhm.
humanidades
Yes.
department. So, oh my God, it was completely different. I had teachers that were involved with you in a way that they wanted to teach you. They were interested in their subjects. It wasn't a work of, just doing what you have to do and that's it.
Mhm.
So it changed my mindset completely, and
Yeah.
I made amazing friends that I still have the pleasure to be sharing life with them. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I would probably meet very good people also, but I don't want to miss the
Imagine, yeah.
opportunity.
Hmm.
Yeah, to miss the ones that I already have,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And now that you talk about that, um, did you have um, classmates who didn't speak already the language when you were studying modern languages?
The thing about modern languages is that they require you
Hmm.
a certain level to
Yep.
start the bachelor's degree, right? To get your
Hmm.
bachelor's degree. I think it's at least a B1 or B2 or probably a B1 plus,
Hmm. Like
because
before, right?
yeah, we have two tests.
Hmm.
One is like the one that you probably know, which
Yes.
was the last one was on Tuesday.
Hmm.
Ceneval test, the
Yes.
one that that applies to all the potential students.
Hmm.
And we also have another one, which is English based with the four skills: readings,
Okay.
writing, speaking, and listening.
Hmm.
So you are required a certain level. So some people, they barely reach the level, so
Hmm.
they start the career with you, but they have a different level, you can tell. But
Yeah.
depending on the skill that we are referring to, because the probably the less developed that we have is speaking when
Hmm.
you start the career.
Yeah.
And it's relying on you whether you practice inside and outside the career so you can develop it.
Hmm.
So I remember that there were classmates that struggle a little bit more with speaking, but they were brilliant with writing or
Hmm.
with reading,
Okay.
which applies very well to this theory of multiple intelligences,
Hmm.
right? That we
Yep.
do have different skills, that all of us are intelligent, but in different fields of
Aspects.
study.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I started noticing that.
Yeah. And that was my question. That how hard did you notice that was for them to study a career like in basically in English, um, but not having like these good skills.
The main worry is that at least the first 2 years you spend are relying on learning and perfecting the languages that you chose,
Hmm.
because you have two options, either French or German, and you will also have English, right, as a,
Hmm.
as a, as a, as a common subject
Hmm.
among students.
Yep.
The first 2 years you're spending like polishing your skills,
Hmm.
and from fifth semester, I think, yes, fifth semester, you choose the direction of your career. Either you want to be a researcher,
Hmm.
right, in
Yep.
cultural things, I don't remember the specific name, and the other is for teaching.
Hmm.
So depending on what you take, you're going to have different subjects, and of course, all I think that per semester I had at least just one Spanish spoken class,
Hmm.
and it was not related to the career itself. It was about, I don't know, planning, or probably it was about your last part, the thesis, and
Yep.
and you have to be aware. You are aware of that the moment that you start
Hmm.
studying.
Yep.
So you are worried the first 2 years to perfect the language in order to understand the classes once we
Hmm.
start them.
Yeah.
So also in French, we do have classes in French,
Hmm.
completely in French. So we have to get used to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the classmates that had less developed skills
Hmm.
regarding speaking, for example, or any of the other three, they
Yep.
struggle a little bit more, but they can get to a level in which they can get it. But in this case, is on you completely,
Hmm.
right? They are not
Yeah.
like pushing you to do it, but you know that you're not going to be getting the results that you expect or that you would like. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. So we would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
What if you speak English or if you are learning English, how different do you think that your life would be? So
Mm.
leave that on the comments below to let us know.
Yeah.
What do you think? If you get to the wall that we are talking about, or if you can think about past that wall, if you can imagine your life without English, that will be very
Yeah.
interesting to read.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, probably one of the most important things that you can get from any educational system that you are in is that you are put in a situation in which you have to be in a social environment in which you
Hmm.
can communicate. Of course, you make
Yeah.
connections, you make friends, you know people.
Hmm.
So probably one of the things that you could consider whenever you're telling us your experience with that is that you probably wouldn't have known the people that you know right now
Exactly.
because of the English classes. I've noticed that students from Columbus, for example, when they are
Hmm.
outside, they have very nice friendships. They interact very well. They know people. They interact between each other. They
Hmm.
they bond. They
Yeah.
bond. They have very strong bonds. So that's something remarkable because I mean it's somehow influence. I mean there's an influence in your life
Hmm.
just because you are studying English.
Yeah, that's right. And also experiences, right? Because, for example, when I think about it, there was no way that I could have been able to go, for example, to Canada and enjoy the experience as much as I did, because if I wasn't like really confident in my English, it would have been a whole different story, you know?
Yeah, completely. I mean, these are the doors that we are talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
these are the doors that we are talking about, in which you will notice how hard would that be if you
Hmm.
didn't have the skills, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, making connections is important all the time because I
Hmm.
don't know, you make friends and you can go to visit them. You have more
Yes.
places to go, and language is a very harsh barrier. Is if it's not considered,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's a very harsh barrier, and also I always say the same thing. I know, but
Mhm.
language is a vessel for culture. So
Exactly.
yeah, if you find a common tongue,
Hmm.
right, which is normally English,
Yes.
yeah, most of the time, I probably 99% of the
Mhm.
times, you're going to find yourself speaking English with somebody from
Different
the other side
country.
of the world,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So that's the thing. In order to understand the other and you find English as a common language,
Hmm.
it'll make this connection. Is the bridge between two cultures.
Yeah.
And of course, through English, you could also share yours because you're going to
Hmm.
be understandable for others.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
you never know. I mean, I've known couples that they are from different countries, different languages, and their common language is
English.
English,
Yeah.
and they get married, they do their lives together
Hmm.
in English. Of course, they learn a little bit of their mother language,
Hmm.
but the main communication channel becomes English. So you never know. You will probably end up speaking English with the love of your life because it's the only way that you can, flirt with a girl, with a boy, you
Yeah.
see. So there
It's
you
English.
go. Yeah, you break barriers. I don't know. It's like something very, very remarkable and also makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, it gives you a certain boost on your confidence.
Yeah, and I don't know. It happens to me. I have mentioned it before that I feel different when I speak English. I feel my
Mhm.
personality somehow, or the way that I express myself is a little bit more, even a little bit more outgoing.
Open, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Me
more
too.
open. Like I don't really mind to express my feelings, to
Hmm.
have certain way of speaking, right?
Yeah.
Because I sometimes feel that I'm a monotone person when
Hmm.
I speak Spanish for certain things,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's funny because when I'm angry is when Spanish comes. Yeah, that's like comes out naturally. But
Hmm.
when I'm speaking English, I'm not thinking anymore. That's the thing. I wanted to get to this level,
Hmm.
right? I wouldn't even imagine that one time or at some point in my life I would be thinking in English and not worrying
Exactly.
about having to translate in my head. It comes
Hmm.
out just like that, and it's part of me. It's part of my life now, and I don't know. It's so attached to me now, and it has become so a big part of my life now that I don't know what to think my
Hmm.
life would be without English now.
Exactly. And that's our goal as teachers and as content creators here in the podcast, for you to encourage you to
Yep.
learn English, because as we have said, and as you can see from many of the guests that we have had, that it's important. It's basically important, and it's going to open, as you were saying, a lot of doors in your life. So we encourage you to listen to the podcast so that you can practice a little bit more and that you can get to this self-confidence awareness that we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I mean, you never know where it's going to take you, like, and you don't lose anything. I mean, you
Hmm.
only have things to earn with
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
You will gain experience, you will meet people, and I know it can be hard at the
Hmm.
beginning.
Yeah,
It can be frustrating, but it's part of the journey. Don't think you're going to get from 1 to 0 to 100 in
in
a
one
month,
night. Yeah.
right? Because I've seen advertisements of learn English in
Hmm.
1 month, and then you get, come on. It takes a lot of time, and it's part of the process
Hmm.
because language is our perception of the universe.
Hmm.
So it's not like a
Instant
anything.
thing. Hmm.
Yeah, just a thing. It's
Yeah.
something very important. And
Hmm.
of course, as Latin Americans, we are very attached to this feeling of feeling ashamed, right?
Hmm.
I don't know why it happens, but instead of helping us, it's a drawback, right?
Yeah.
Because as and I know most of us have experienced this, that whenever we are speaking English with one of our friends, or that you forget, because it happens once you start learning English, you first remember the word in English, you forget it in
Hmm.
your mother language, and they go like, el que habla inglés, el
Hmm.
gringo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it like can affect your confidence, but it's depending on how you take it.
Hmm.
And yes, as teachers, we feel that we have that responsibility. Also, not only teaching you the benefits in an academic or professional
Hmm.
way, or standpoint in which we can tell you
Yeah.
the advantages that you're going to have, but I think this is what we want to tell you actually is the 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 emotional part,
Hmm.
like the subjective part of English, how
Yeah.
much it can help you in that matter,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
That barrier is going to be broken, and you're not going to be worried about how am I going to express myself.
Yes. It's
And
gonna
that's a
come naturally.
yes, that's a common worry. Like, I mean, I imagine myself with no English trying to be a waiter when I was working.
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
It puts you in a very tough situation, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So there you go. The goal that we were talking about is, be confident and keep going. If you're already learning, keep going, because it's gonna take you to a different level in your life.
Yeah, and that confidence, I probably may sound very easy to say,
Yeah.
but the real thing about that confidence is that must be worked on every day
Exactly. It takes
somehow.
years, years and years.
You're not going to wake up and feel confident. Probably
Yeah.
you're going to feel a little bit confident, but
Hmm.
it's depending on how you work it.
Yes.
So you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situation
Hmm.
to feel confident, because you learn through bad and good experiences, and you
Hmm.
never know where it's going to take you. So it's part of the deal. It's the thrill of life in general,
Hmm.
right? Trying new things and expose
Yes.
yourself all the
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your incredible ideas, Teacher Carlos.
No, thank you
Um,
for having me, and also for inspiring me. Also, because that question made me thought about many things. Actually,
yeah.
made me thought about many
Rethink
things.
your entire existence.
Yeah, yeah, somehow, an alternative universe, right?
Hmm.
And this is like, I don't know, it's a topic to practice third conditional.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, and I was thinking in my head like third conditional and mixed conditionals.
Yes, yes,
You
that's
know
that's
that.
fun. That's
So
fun. You always
so
have very interesting topics.
oh, thank you so much. I try my best to come up with crazy ideas
All
to put
right.
you in the spot.
Yes.
So before we go, we would like to shout out to our incredible fans, we can call them. Uh, on Instagram, we have Leonardo VIP. So thank you so much for your likes. And Dora MG as well.
Also,
So,
we'd like to
yep.
mention the TikTok fans.
Mhm.
We really appreciate you guys when you like it because it helps us a lot, puts
Yeah.
us in the spots for
Mhm.
other people to watch us and also join this
Community.
project.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'd like to make a shout out to Edgar Daniel 379,
Mhm.
right? And also Enisa with a double S on
Yes.
TikTok because they have liked our videos. And also, we know that when you like a video on TikTok, it's saved on your likes section so you can rewatch them whenever you need it. So that's good. That is
Exactly.
it what let us know that it's working, and you're probably going to go back and rewatch them and remember Teacher Pablo's
Amazing
suggestion.
content. Content.
And yes, the content to
Mhm.
rewatch it again. Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah. So keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep them coming. We really appreciate it. And probably you'll be the next here mentioned here in the podcast. And why not? Probably one day you could be one of our guests.
Exactly. That's right. We would love to do that. So there you go, guys. Before we go, as well, we would like to remind you all of our social media. So, Teacher Carlos, again, can you help us with that?
Of course, first of all, you can find us on Facebook, very active all the time. We have all the content there. We have some any promotion or any
Yes.
advertisements that we get. You can find them in Facebook.
Mhm.
Also, you can go to Instagram, check our posts, like them, and see some of the clips of our podcast. Also, you can go to Google Podcasts, in which
Right.
you will find all of our podcasts arranged by name, and also on YouTube.
Yes.
Subscribe, give it a like in the
Mhm.
comment section. Always we read your comments. And we are also on, am I forgetting one?
Google Podcast, I think.
Yes. Well, I
Well,
already,
basically, all of the podcast platforms you can find.
yes, yes,
You can find us
definitely,
in there.
definitely. And of course, remember that we are as Columbus BCS, as Columbus School BCS, of course,
Yes.
and share. You know, sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So there you go. And we do care about you guys. So there we go. Thank you very much, David, for the questions. And it's always a pleasure to spend my time with you and sharing our ideas.
And my dude.
All
Same, same.
righty, very good, guys.
All right. So we will see you back very soon with another interesting episode of Random Talks.
I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.